Hi, I'm Gwen, and I'm a student of Kathleen's, working on my inner core, pelvic floor, strengthening my inner core so that I can move freely and do exercise and enjoy life without hurting and injuring myself in the process. As we tend to do, we grow older and we do things that we can't normally do as we did when we were 15 years old or 16 years old. And what Kathleen is helping me do is go back and learn how to use my inner core versus my outer limbs to move and to do exercise and to walk and run and just to move freely. And I have Sandy with me here today, and she's just starting with Kathleen, so she may have a few questions that she'd like to ask me on my journey, and I can share with her a couple insights that I saw when I started and how I feel after 7 months of doing this. Hi, Sandy.
Hi, thanks. I guess my first question for you is, I think one of the things that's most difficult for me is the visualization stuff. I have a real hard time holding those images and reacting to them. Did it come naturally to you right away, or did it take you a while to get it?
Yeah, that was actually the easiest part for me, is the visualization, because if I visualize this reed coming up in my body, and when you exercise, you're staring at something or you're doing something, and so for me, I would intently think about something so much I'd get a headache, and my motions would be so stiff I would get a headache. So by thinking of the reed actually moving my motions versus me moving the motions seemed to help me. So it was that just constantly thinking of that reed in my body coming up like a water spout coming up, and and I'm pushing it up with that. So my motions are coming from that pushing of that reed. So it does come, but that was actually the easier part for me. So
What was the hardest part for you?
The hardest part for me was thinking. I do with my mind, and so I would get headaches a lot. And when you start, I don't know how Kathleen has you starting, but I mean, you're only doing 15-20 minutes.
Right.
And so it's a very short amount of time, which was great, because I'm like, I'm exercising for 15 minutes and I'm done, yes. But I didn't realize that I was thinking so hard about those motions that I would get headaches. And I was like, this is crazy. I'm only, that's what I do in normal life. I think I overthink it versus letting your body tell you what to do. And what Kathleen is trying to do with the inner core and the pelvic, strengthening that pelvic floor, is to visualize, and that's what makes your motions. And therefore you're not using your brain to overthink things. It just comes naturally, and then you don't injure yourself.
Yeah, not injuring yourself is definitely a good thing.
Yeah.
Unlike you, I was never an athlete.
Okay.
Up until I had babies, I was just one of those lucky people that
Yeah.
didn't have to do anything for it,
Right.
And wasn't that a shock when my body changed?
Welcome to our world.
Yeah, right. But I think this is maybe my 7th or 8th session now with Kathleen, so I'm really just a beginner. But I think when we took my measurements last time, overall I had lost about 5 inches.
That's awesome.
So I have been doing a little bit of a low carb diet with it. So, but still I was really excited, and I've definitely noticed that like you said, I'm paying attention more to where my body is, and when I'm not doing it right, like I think you were saying in a prior video, when you're bending down to get something,
Right.
and now I am thinking about it, and I do feel like I'm a little bit taller.
Yeah.
Did you get, or I should say, at what point did you get, one of those non-scale victories, or when somebody noticed that something different was happening, or even that you yourself noticed outwardly more than just the feeling?
Sure. It's interesting because I started this process in January, and it's also around the time frame that I decided I needed to spend some time with me and learn to be with just me. I had lost my husband 5 years ago, and was finally moving out of the big house and into the condo, and that was the time of life that I needed to learn to be with myself on Friday night or Saturday night, and it was also the time that I started working with Kathleen. So there was a lot of factors going into it, but I was learning to try and slow down on that I call it the hamster wheel of life, where you're just spinning out of control and always trying to fill every minute. And so I was calming down. I was calming down and I was just letting quiet. And for me, it was a spiritual journey as well, which I loved. But so between all of those factors, I would say in maybe March, people said, "You look great," or you seem happy. You seem really happy. You're smiling. You're laughing. And I think it was a factor of all of the pieces working together in the puzzle. It was working on my core. Now there's so much further to go. Even though I've done it for 7 months, I mean, she watches my every movement, and I do it wrong sometimes, and I can tell when I'm doing it wrong because something will hurt or I'm breathing wrong. So it is a process, and it's learning and training. But I really think that it just about 2 months into the process, going into the third month, I think people noticed that I was doing something. They didn't know what I was doing. And so I felt it. I felt good. I felt at peace. I would love to lose 5 inches. I need to do the no carb too. That's the next step in the process. But for now,
it's short term. I'm not planning on doing no carb for the rest of my life.
I need to add the cardio with it. But the first part was to do it so that when I do add the cardio, I don't injure myself. And that's what was most important to me, is I want to get back out and play tennis and golf and different things.
Oh, nice.
And I don't want to hurt myself in doing it. So this is not a quick fix. This is a lifetime change that I'm hoping for. And between that and just embracing life and taking it a little slower. So I know it's hard when you're a young mom. I'm at a different point in my life, but this is for all women. And maybe if we started taking a little more time for ourselves when we were younger and just carved out that little niche of time, life wouldn't be so stressful.
Right. So talking about still kind of on physical benefits, but not visual. You were talking about how you had a lot of muscle pain. Where did you see getting the relief there?
My back pain.
Yeah. So would you say, I mean, was it after a few sessions? I definitely have noticed a difference in my knees. When Kathleen and I started, I had a lot of knee pain, partially from being so heavy, and to walk up the stairs or anything would really, I'd really feel it in my knees. And I think it was, I don't know at what point, like I noticed, like, oh wow, I'm not in pain anymore, but I did notice that, oh okay, it's not, So did you kind of experience that same thing?
I sure did. I think it was actually after a very short period of time, I expressed to her, my lower back isn't hurting, and my lower back was killing me. I was debating on whether to buy a new mattress.
Wow.
I couldn't figure out what it was, and I would put pillows under my legs. I bought special pillows for my head. I was trying everything, and it was after a very short period of time, I had no lower back pain. That was the main thing I noticed. And when I got out of bed in the morning, I could get out of bed and walk normally. I felt like I wasn't shuffling.
Wow.
So it was a very short period of time. So I think the results of learning to access that inner core in your movements happens pretty quickly. And then everything else follows and maybe takes longer as we try and visualize and still always move from the right and not let what we've done for 20, 30, 40, 50 years take over, and that's what we tend to do. So it's getting it to be where it's second nature.
Yeah, she's definitely pointed out to me bad habits that I didn't even know I had. So that's a good thing. I'm working on that.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for your guidance and your words and sharing your journey with me.
Good luck. Welcome to
Thank
the
you.
team.
Thank you.
We hope other people will enjoy what we've enjoyed in learning how to use our inner core.
Yeah, I got to say, and I'm guessing that you would probably agree, because as much as I haven't been athletic, I've had a lot of, instructors here and there, and she's got something special that you don't get from everybody. I mean, beyond just what you would expect from a trainer, there's another something, she really cares, and she's looking into you in a way that I don't know, that I haven't experienced before with other teachers.
Right. Absolutely, and I think the one-on-one has been awesome too, because Kathleen actually watches your every motion. And so when I come here, even though there's camaraderie, I'm coming here for my workout, and it's great to have that intense time that's not taken up. And we talk and chat during it, but typically she's really watching my movements, and it's awesome. She's great. So thank you.
Yeah, here, thank you.